we will be discussing the INICET 2021 questions. So these questions are all recall questions. So options, they may or may not be correct, but the answers which I have given are correct. So this question may not be the exact recall, but still then we have compiled it. And the first question was vancomycin mechanism of action was given along with a cell wall synthesis image. So this question was a bit of easy question, and directly mechanism of action of an antibiotic was asked. So we all know the mechanism of action of vancomycin is inhibition of D-alanine to D-alanine linkase, and this is given in KD Tripathi book in page number 806. So anyone who might have gone through the KD Tripathi will know the answer. Second question was when to start the anti-tubercular therapy and anti-HIV therapy in a HIV positive person. So whether it has to be given both simultaneously or ATT when CD counts come back to something lower side, or ATT after 2 weeks of the start of anti-HIV, or ATT before 2 weeks of the start of anti-HIV. So we all know that TB in HIV, it is a most common of opportunistic infection. In HIV, and therefore, so first we will have to start ATT, then after 2 weeks we need to start antiretroviral therapy. So this is the regimen. First ATT should be given, then anti-HIV should be given. Next question was continuous NO inhalation is used for which of the following disorders? Persistent seizure, persistent migraine, pulmonary arterial hypertension, and some other option was given. So NO will give rise to increase in the cyclic GMP levels. Okay, so this GMP is responsible for the actions of the NO. So this is primarily used in the pulmonary arterial hypertension, and in other examples it is not used. Now, drug for the treatment of long-term obesity. So the options given were metformin, sibutramine, fenfluramine, and liraglutide. So metformin, as we all know, nowadays it is being said that it is a weight neutral drug. So we eliminated that. Next, sibutramine and fenfluramine. These were used in obesity previously, but these are now not used in long-term obesity is asked. So in long-term obesity, this will cause various side effects and adverse effects. So this is also eliminated. Another group is liraglutide. Liraglutide is a GLP-1 agonist. So this liraglutide, it is used in long-term obesity. Now next coming to the another question is topiramate is used in which of the following disorders? Heat stroke prophylaxis, ADHD, treatment of migraine, and Lennox-Gastaut syndrome. So first we will eliminate these two options. It is not used in heat stroke prophylaxis and ADHD. Next, coming to the treatment of migraine and Lennox-Gastaut syndrome. Had it been prophylaxis of migraine, there topiramate is used. But in treatment of migraine, it is not used. Acute treatment of migraine, topiramate is not used. But whereas in Lennox-Gastaut syndrome, it is a rare cause of epilepsy. And it occurs in children of 2 to 6 years. And what type of seizures are there? Atonic, tonic, or myoclonic seizures are there. And what is the treatment? you'll remember VLT, valproate, lamotrigine and topiramate. Okay, and drug of choice is valproate. And other drugs which are also used are rufinamide and felbamate. This can be used as add-on drugs. Okay. Now the next question, what is the antidote for coagulant, which is incorrect? So the options were idarucizumab and dabigatran, andaxanate and rivaroxaban, siraparatang and fondaparinux, and andaxanate and edoxaban. So here, how to remember this? Just see, XA is given and XA is given. So these are direct 10A inhibitors, and the antidote for this is andaxanate. So these two are correct. So incorrect will be this one, siraparatang and fondaparinux. C option is the correct option. Siraparatang, it is not the antidote for fondaparinux, and fondaparinux specifically, it has not got any specific antidote, and it is one of the lower molecular weight heparin. No specific antidote is there for fondaparinux. Okay. Next question is, a female taking antiretroviral therapy complains of migraine since last 4 days, and she took ergotamine for the treatment. Now she complains of tingling and pain in the toe upwards towards the mid-thigh region, and on examination no pulse is seen in dorsalis pedis and popliteal artery. What might be the cause? So the probable cause must be ergotism, because when we give ergotamine, these cause vasoconstriction, and it also causes burning sensation, pain, tingling and dry gangrene of the fingers. Next question is, a hypertensive patient with stage 4 CKD, which thiazide has to be given? So stage 4 CKD, the GFR level will be around 30 ml per minute. So here all the thiazides contraindicated except when the GFR is less than 30 ml per minute, indapamide and metolazone. This is given in page 455 of Goodman-Gilman. Now the question comes, out of indapamide and metolazone, which is the correct option? So indapamide, it has got an excretion from the hepatic excretion greater than renal excretion, and metolazone has got a renal excretion. And metolazone, it is used more for hypertension than for edema, and whereas indapamide, it is used more for edema, for the reduction of edema. So my choice will be to go with metolazone. Next, coming to the next question, patient of ischemic stroke was given clopidogrel, but still after 6 months had another attack of the stroke. What accounts for the failure of clopidogrel? So this is an easy question. Why easy? Because this is one thing which is always studied with clopidogrel. It has got, it is a prodrug. So clopidogrel will be converted into its active form, and by which enzyme it is converted? CYP2C19 enzyme. This enzyme is responsible for the conversion of the prodrug of clopidogrel to its active form. So CYP2C19 inhibition may have caused the failure, and that is why clopidogrel shouldn't be combined with omeprazole. And if at all you need to combine with some PPI, then combine with Rabe or Pento. Pento has got least CYP inhibition. Next, coming to the what is the off-label use of risperidone, and off-label use of risperidone is in all except which of the following disorders. So here we need to know what is risperidone. Risperidone is a atypical antipsychotic. And what is off-label use? Non-FDA approved use is called off-label use. So out of these 4 disorders, bipolar disorders is a FDA approved use of risperidone, because risperidone it is used in, one is schizophrenia and another is bipolar disorders. So these 2 are the FDA approved use. That is why in all except, so the answer is bipolar disorders. Next, coming to the another question. First order kinetics was asked. If the drug dose is doubled, then what happens to the T-half and plasma concentration? So we all know that first order kinetics, how we need to remember this? First order kinetics, constant fraction of the drug is eliminated per unit time, and rate of elimination is directly proportional to the plasma concentration. Then T-half in this case is constant and clearance is constant. These are the basics of general kinetics. So if anyone has gone through this basics in KD Tripathi, he will answer it properly. So there will be no change in T-half and plasma concentration will be doubled. Next is patient was undergoing treatment for cancer and the hemoglobin value is 9, absolute neutrophil count is somewhere around 450 and few more lab values is given. Which drug is responsible for that? So the drug is linezolid. Now the side effects of linezolid you can remember by the mnemonic COMB, comb, that is chorioretinitis. Then O is optic neuritis, M is MAO inhibition, and D is bone marrow suppression. And most common type of bone marrow suppression is thrombocytopenia. Okay. So the correct option was linezolid. Next question is paradoxical bronchoconstriction is seen in with ipratropium bromide due to all except EDTA, benzalkonium chloride, hypertonic saline and presynaptic M2 block. This is a difficult question, and in bronchodilation either you can use beta agonist and another is M3 receptor blocker. So ipratropium bromide is a M3 receptor blocker. It is a short acting M3 receptor blocker, and long acting M3 receptor blocker is tiotropium bromide. So out of all these options, hypertonic saline is the correct option, because hypertonic saline causes bronchodilation. Hypo will cause hypotonic saline will cause bronchoconstriction. Okay. This is given in Goodman-Gilman 13th edition. Next, coming to what is true about nicotine substitution therapy. It is given by GI route, wherein acetylene comes with black box warning of severe disease or death, and there should be 15 minutes gap between nicotine and coffee or acidic food as it decreases the absorption. Nicotine chewing gums are better for consistent use and give 10 to 15% better level in the blood as compared to the lozenges. Now, out of all these options, we all know that nicotine, it requires an alkaline environment for absorption, and this coffee, it either washes the alkaline environment from the mouth, and this acidic food, it will also neutralize the alkaline environment. So there should be at least 15-minute gap between nicotine and coffee or acidic food as it decreases the absorption. Now coming to acute uveitis case was given and IOP was raised, and what was asked, that which drug is not to be given. So in this case, PG analog is not to be given because PG analog like bimatoprost or travoprost. What is the side effects? Sandy eyes, orbital fat atrophy, anterior uveitis, cystoid macular edema, and hair around the brows and eyes, that is hypertrichosis, and heterochromia iridis. So the mnemonic is SOCH. Now another question was, retigabin is given thrice daily. Now phenytoin is added. What will be the dose of retigabin now? We all know phenytoin is a enzyme. Phenyl is a enzyme inducer. So it will induce the enzyme. There will be more of metabolism of retigabin. So retigabin level in body will become low. So we need to give more of retigabin. So retigabin dose has to be increased in this. Okay. Next question was, nivolumab is used for which of the following? And one of the option was Hodgkin's lymphoma. The correct answer is Hodgkin's lymphoma. It is a direct one-liner question and it is quite difficult because the MABs, the generally used MABs, if it is asked then one can answer it, but nivolumab is one of the rarely used monoclonal antibody and one needs to have that level of learning to answer this question. So the overall question paper was more of moderate kind of question paper, and it had certain application based question and one or two direct one liners difficult questions. So thank you.